Good day, good afternoon, or good evening, whenever you take the time to listen to this information that I want to share with you today on anxiety disorders. I'm going to do a series of videos giving you some information on anxiety disorders, what it's doing internally to us, and I want to also offer you a checkup that you can do for yourself below the video. And I want to thank each of you who have pre-ordered my book, The Many Mental Vacations. This is like an opportunity for you to do some pre-work before you get the book, because we know that anxiety is running rapidly. So here we go. Just pause a moment. I'm going to bring this up. So where are you anxious at about the past that keeps showing up or the future? Because anxiety disorder is amongst the most common mental condition that is impacting our lives today. I'm going to give you some statistics in a few moments. Because anxiety is so complex. Why? Because it can show up in any situation, thought. You never know what's going to trigger it in you. So it's having a compound effect on us. And we can no longer allow it to treat us as though it's a normal part of our lives. It's not normal to have anxiety attacks. So I want to bring to you the first anxiety disorder, and it's GAD, generalized anxiety disorder. So what is a disorder? It's a state of confusion, because that's how we feel when a disorder of anxiety shows up. It disrupts your mind, your thinking, your patterns. It takes from your inner peace, and it makes you feel like you're not in alignment with who you are, because you simply can't think straight. So you know that if you're experiencing GAD, generalized anxiety disorder, one of the characteristics is that it's a chronic disorder. And that means that you can have exaggerated worry or tension that shows up at any given moment. And it doesn't have to have anything to provoke it. It just shows up. So it's a combination of your emotions, feeling like either fear is showing up or whatever it is. It's creating these energies inside where your heart can begin to palpitate, your increased heart rate. Your breathing could be so rapid that you feel like you're hyperventilating. Or you may hit a spot where you're sweating or feel like you're trembling inside. Or you're feeling like you're weak in a moment. Or you're so overwhelmed with tiredness. And the big one also is you have trouble concentrating and focusing in a particular area. You read a couple of lines, you do a couple of things, and you take a mental break, and you don't even know it's become a habit because it's chronic. And what does it mean to have a chronic anxiety disorder? It means that it's reoccurring. And that means because it shows up anytime, it's difficult to eradicate it. Because chronically, when you have a habit, it becomes a bad habit when it causes you disorder. And so some stats, the Census Bureau, the United States Census Bureau is saying that our anxiety in the melanated Black community rose when we saw the horrific event on TV with our brother George Floyd. But little does they know that this has been a way of life for us, 5, 10, 15 generations of being enslaved. So when we see hate crimes, when we experience all these racial traumatic experiences, when we have incidents where we know we have no control and we feel helpless, the rates of depression has to rise. And from generation to generation, you can look at your children right now. Some of your children are constantly intoxicated, they're on drugs, they're constantly worrying, the depression comes and goes. Anxiety shows up anytime. And so when you look at your life right now, let's just pause a moment and take a deep breath. That's a lot to inhale, right? And think about in a day, how often do you see a hate crime or experience it? A terroristic threat, see murder on camera as though it's normal. And it immediately creates tension and a feelings of overwhelmness that you feel like you could cry, fall apart. And it goes throughout your day. If you don't have any stress relief techniques that you release the tension and the toxins that show up. So we constantly find ourselves extremely emotionally traumatized. And we can no longer ignore the effects of it. Because what? It has us running to the doctor to get a pill. And it all starts with a thought, something that you see, something that you feel, something that's reoccurring. And so these painstaking experiences that we're having on a daily basis, I want you to simply recognize, take an anxiety checkup test with me. Because once it gets into the forefront of your mind, you'll begin to start saying, you know what? I need to do some things differently. I need to make some shifts and think about what is my level of mental freedom, of emotional peace, to tap into my spirit, that I don't ignore my spirit when it says, go this way, do this, do that. Because I've taken time to realize that I do have an anxiety. I had an anxiety issue the other day. And I shared this on another video where I went to go drop off a gift to someone. And it was a gift from one of my family members. And I found myself in a kind of combative situation where the person was just going off on another level. And I wind up backing up little by little to get into my vehicle. When I got to the corner, I just kind of like exhaled and said, what just happened there? And I realized the person was having a meltdown. But because it caught me by surprise, all I wanted to do was get myself out of that space, because I'm not obligated as a practitioner of stress relief techniques to put myself in positions that may be positions of harm. Same thing with you. I mean, a lot of times people are filming the traumatic experiences that we see. And now we re-traumatize ourselves over and over and over when we watch it, when we talk about it, when we hear it. And so we feel these energies circulating the air with our words and our interactions, encounters with one another. So here you have it. This is GAD, generalized anxiety disorder, exaggerated worry, tension that can happen with little or nothing to provoke it. So once again, if this is you, do yourself a favor. You deserve to have mental clarity and the freedom that you know the sickness and disease can be eradicated because you take the necessary steps to seek some professional help if you need it. So if you have not ordered my book, The Many Mental Vacations, of not taking one of my courses, go to thebreathingexperience.com. I come out and speak to groups of women and men and youth, even though I look at caregivers, those who are in the public eye, who we take on so much responsibility to care for others. And we lack sometimes seeing that we have anxiety signs and symptoms that show up in our lives because we don't take the proper time or have the proper tools to de-stress and decompress. Thank you for listening. And I will see you on the next video. Have a great rest of the day. Take good care. I'm Eliza D. Carter, and I'm the CEO of the Breathing Experience Academy. I'm also a master breathologist and a practitioner of stress-related techniques and tools that we need each and every day. And I'm gonna tell you this, the Mini Mental Vacation book is going to be a life resource for you. The 10 principles to help you unplug quickly, I'm living by them. And I am not removed from the fact that things hit me too, but because I know how to shift and I know what I can pull out of my toolbox and use for that situation. And I gladly use it because I don't like stress. And I know you don't either. I don't like the pressure of feeling traumatized for something that I saw, something I feel helpless about. But when I feel helpless, I begin to send out words of loving kindness and comfort to those who I know are helpless. So that's something you can do too. Let's connect, talk to you soon. Make sure you do that anxiety checkup. You will really be glad that you did. Have a great day. Bye now.